everyone, and welcome to Martin's Home and Garden's Houseplant of the Week. Our houseplant of the week this week is Hoya carnosa, Crimson Princess. So we're really excited about this one because it is an epiphytic plant that hails from Indonesia, Thailand, India, and different parts of China. So this plant's really interesting in the fact that it will grow kind of like all of your other plants that have aerial roots and stuff like that. It doesn't like to be overwatered. It likes high humidity and decent sunlight in your house. So let's get into the care of this plant. So when it comes to light, these plants are going to want to be in or near an east-facing window. They look great in a pot on your window, or they also look really good in a hanging basket on your window. Because they are a vining plant, they kind of cascade over the side and they look really pretty. They are kind of slow growers until you get them into their niche of how they want to be planted and cared for. So you might not get those glorious vines yet, but they will come eventually. When it comes to watering of these plants, they are going to want, in the wild, they like about 70 to 80% humidity. So making sure that you dust the leaves off, maybe with a warm washcloth or wet paper towel, is kind of essential for these. You could also use some coconut oil every now and then just to freshen it up, provide that nice shine on the leaves as well. With watering, the key for Hoyas is to not overwater. And that is one of the biggest causes of loss in these plants, is that people water them too much. For me, with my Hoyas, something that I do is I just make sure to wait until the leaves look like they're shriveled up and the soil's pretty dry to the touch. And my plant didn't start growing a lot and blooming until I actually did that and figured that out. So I would make sure that you let the plant dry out in between watering and make sure that it's really ready to be watered. When you do water, I would recommend using, purified or distilled water, or water that you let sit out for about a day. Something like that really makes sure that the water is good for these plants. When it comes to fertilizing, you can add that into your watering schedule and fertilize probably about once a month during the growing season. You can use something like Super Thrive, which is a vitamin, or you can use something like a cactus fertilizer, which is something that, just because it's branded cactus doesn't mean necessarily it's only for cactus. This promotes growing and blooming, which are two things that you want your Hoya to do. It's a standard 1-2-2 fertilizer, so it's got all the good stuff in it that are good for lots of succulents or cactuses, not just cactus. So this is a really good thing to add into your watering routine during the growing season, just so that you're giving it that extra little boost. While I was speaking about the blooms, these are very famous for their bloom. They are also called wax flower because the flowers kind of look waxy and fake. They're almost so beautiful that you would think that they're fake. They come out in this ball or cluster of flowers. They're a bunch of little bitty flowers. And whenever they bloom, they smell like warm sugar or something like that, kind of like cotton candy, that kind of smell. They're so beautiful, and they can either be white or pink. Mine bloomed 3 times last year, which was super awesome because every time I just want to snip them off and save them forever. But these plants have a beautiful bloom. They're not going to bloom though unless they are happy within what you're doing with them. And they also will bloom more if they're kind of root bound in the pot. So if you are going to repot, you might expect no blooms the next year or something like that. When it comes to soil for these plants, they really like a chunky soil mixture. So what that means is something that's going to provide a lot of air for the roots. You can use a cactus soil with some perlite or orchid bark, something like that, that really makes the soil nice and airy and chunky. The orchid bark is good too because it provides different nutrients as well, and it allows that soil to drain through really freely. We do sell all of that here, so you should come check out our orchid bark mixes. We have a few different options, and we also have all the cactus soil as well that has that sand in it, and a little bit of perlite too. I think that's just about all that I have for Hoya Crimson Queen, but I do have one more thing. If you come in this week and you spend $50 on houseplants with us, you get a free houseplant, and it is another type of Hoya called Hoya kerrii or Hoya heart. We are giving these away while supplies last for about when you spend $50. So these are super interesting, and if you like Hoyas, you might want to add this one to your collection. Thanks for checking in, everybody. We'll see you next week.